This is going to be a fairly simple picture, but I still want it to have a distinct foot, a fairly distinct rim, and then we'll work on the spout and the handle later. There is a little bit of extra clay down here at the bottom, and I want to give it a foot. I don't want to trim it, but I want it to have a feature that we can consider a foot. So what I'm going to do is use this plastic rib that has a right angle and come down here near the bottom and actually push down a little bit on the outside of the clay, and I'm going to make a little flange that sticks out against the bat down here at the bottom of the pot. Now I'm going to use this tool. It's basically a pointy wooden stick, and I'm going to roll the foot of the pitcher back into the side of the pot. So to do that, I'm going to undercut it with the stick and lift it up, at the same time using a wet sponge, and press it into the wall of the pot. It's really a pretty simple way to make a foot on a cylinder. It's not really a foot, it's just the bottom of the pot is flat, but it's an indication of where the bottom of the pot is. It's a distinction from where the pot starts and the tabletop. The other nice thing about it is it gives you, when you come to the glazing part, it gives you a place where you can choose to end the glaze. In other words, you can leave the foot bare and glaze from this point up. So I'm going to use this wire, and what I'm going to do is lightly make marks on the rim. I'm going to look right here at the middle of the bat so that I know that these marks are opposite each other if the wire passes right through the middle of the bat. So these light marks. So now I have marks here and here. I'm going to turn it so that I can visually see where I can cut those marks in half by going this way. Now it's divided into 4 equal parts. So now it's divided into 8 parts, and I want it to end up in 16. So I'm going to go between each one of those marks again. Now this is a wire cheese cutter that I took the roller out. It makes a nice little miniature handheld wire tool, and I'm going to use this to cut pieces out of the rim in between each one of these marks. I'm going to use these marks to help guide me as I'm cutting pieces out. So I'm basically going to go at it at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to cut pieces out in between each one of these marks. The next step is to soften these cuts. Instead of these jagged cuts, I want it to be nice and soft and have this even fluid flow to it. So I'm going back to the chamois. Again, if you remember, I've only made one pull, so the wall is still plenty thick. It still can support some downward pressure, and that's what I'm going to do. I wrap the chamois around that rim. I support it on either side, a finger on the outside, a finger on the inside, and then as it's turning, I'm going to use my thumb and press down. I'm trying not to be real heavy-handed. I'm letting the cuts tell my hand where to go. So I can feel the low spots, and I press down, and then I ease up and kind of ride up the high spots. So you can see how that softened up those cuts and made a nice loose sort of organic line all the way around the rim.